I'm a walking, living legend, ain't no doubt about it. Stack my money to the sky, I'm just grinding out here. I'm a walking, living legend, ain't no doubt about it. All my faith is in God, that's the reason why I'm here. I'm a walking, living legend, ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it, said ain't no doubt about it.
Hey y'all, hey, I'm back again with another interview on the fabric of life. We're talking about all of the things that we do and how it's weaved together, intertwined, to leave a lasting impression long after we're gone. And so today I wanted to bring on a beautiful person. I feel like she's just going to really enlighten us about what it is that she does on a daily basis and how she touches so many lives, how she impacts so many people with her craft. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and what she does and explain to you who she is. So are you there, Kendra? Can you hear me?
I am here. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay!
How are you doing today, girl?
I am doing great. I am so glad to get you on my show. I feel so honored that you're here because you're like the busiest woman in the world. Like, I don't even know how you had time to do this today, but I thank you for, coming on the show and gracing us with your presence. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? Tell us who Kendra is, because we don't know you.
That's true. I kind of stay behind the camera. I don't really like to, step in front of it. And I'm actually learning, okay, tell people who you are. It's kind of important for your business, for your brand, and showcase yourself and your personality. So that's what I've been doing a little bit more. But I am a love storyteller, a professional love storyteller is what I like to call myself. But, you can call me a wedding photographer. That works too. And
I think
mama,
that honestly, professional love storyteller sounds so much better than wedding photographer. I think that kind of segments you, but I love the way you put it. I'll put it like that. But tell us more. What else about Kendra that we may not know?
Well, I'm a single mom. I love wine and coffee. Coffee, runs my business. If there is no coffee, there is no business because I just can't function without it. It's 2 or 3 cups a day, and it's espresso, Cafe Bustelo. That's life.
Oh, wow.
That's life for me. So, yes, if you haven't tried Cafe Bustelo, go get you some. It's everything. It'll change your world, I promise you. If you're a coffee drinker. I don't know about tea world. I'm sorry, I can't. Can't help you there.
Can you tell me what photography means to you? I mean, every time I hear you talk, it's about a camera. It's about someone you took their picture. And I love that, everything, it's intertwined and wrapped in what you do and who you are as a person. What does it mean to you and how has it shaped you?
Well, there's so many different ways that I could actually really put it. So it's kind of hard. But for me, it's more documenting and capturing real moments and memories with my engagement sessions, with my couples. I do photograph other things outside of that spectrum. However, weddings and engagements are my life. For example, one of my favorite moments during a wedding is the bride walking down the aisle with her father and the dad giving his daughter away. I cried actually. Hold on, does that make sense? I'm saying that again. Sorry.
Yeah, I think to me you're making perfect sense. This sounds excellent. Tell me a little bit more about how you got started into the photography business in itself. I mean, you're a young woman. Like you said, you're a single mom, and you have a lot of responsibilities. What was I need to do photography? How did that come about?
So actually, I have one of those. My grandfather was a professional photographer stories.
Okay.
A lot of photographers have that story. It was a legitimate story for me. And then even growing up and going through high school, I did photography. I did senior sessions while I was in high school, when I was in 10th grade.
Wow.
And honestly, during that time, being an adolescent, going through so many changes, and then I've had a life as well. It helped me with my anxiety, and it helped me with my depression, and it helped me showcase the feelings that I was feeling that I couldn't necessarily verbalize. And even still to this day, it does that for me. I did battle postpartum depression, and that was hard because I really didn't necessarily talk about it. However, I was able to showcase that in some personal photos that I did for myself, and then also working with clients and working with weddings and seeing all this love and all this joy. It just helped heal some of the broken parts of me as well.
That's amazing. And I love to hear, how you motivate I've noticed it with young women. I don't know how, far you go with men or anything like that, but I've noticed that when, I'll hear someone will say, well, I don't really like that picture. I really like how I look in that. And you're just awesome about flipping that around. Like, no, you are amazing. Maybe that background doesn't do you justice, but everything about you is great. And I love how you are constantly building people up instead of letting people tear themselves down. Because especially as women, we can tear ourselves down because we're trying to fit a standard. We're trying to be a certain way that society has told us to be, that, know, it may not be a correct picture of who we really are. So I love that you talked about that. And then I would never know, in knowing you now, that you struggled with depression or anything like that, because you are the biggest motivator I know. So to hear that and to know that someone can rise above and come out of that, that is amazing. And I'm sure our listeners would appreciate, knowing how you were able to move forward. So it sounds like you use photography as a way to catalyst yourself away from the negativity.
Well, that's why I'm such a big motivator, though, because I've had a few people in my corner, but at the same time, I felt like I had no one. And that's what anxiety and depression does to you. It makes you feel like you are the only one. And so I reach out to other people, or other people come and reach out to me. I want to let them know, I am in your corner. I have your back. Whatever you need, I'm there. I follow up with people. I've had other photographers oh, I wish I was as cool as you. I was like, girl, I want you to be better than me. Don't try to be as good as me. You need to be better than me, honey. But it's just weird. First of all, that's kind of weird for me, for someone to say I'm going to be as great as you, because I'm still trying to be on this whole other level and spectrum. And girl, you're doing your own thing. We're all on different levels. We're all on different wavelengths. However, I just want to be able to be there for people and support other people. And I know what it's like going into an industry and not feeling accepted or feeling less than.
Right.
And comparing yourself. And that's the hardest part. But that's a whole nother story. And then battling depression at the same time. So then it feels like whenever you're trying to do something, you just get hit, you're punching yourself in the face over and over again because you think you're not good enough. And that just adds to the anxiety and adds to the depression. And so if I can stop anybody from doing that, then I will, wholeheartedly.
Do you think that as a whole in our society, and especially in our age group, and maybe even in our minority group, is it something that it's well talked about? Do we express, when we're feeling sad? Have you ever just said someone walks you, girl, I'm depressed? Do we share those types of things, or do we kind of keep that hidden?
We don't, and that's one of the most hurtful things about being a woman of color, especially a Black woman in particular. We're just told to just pray about it and leave it alone. It'll get healed after you pray about it. I am fortunate enough where my depression and anxiety got really bad that my mom put me into therapy, and she recognized that I need that. But a lot of young girls, a lot of people of color in general, need therapy, and it's scrutinized, and it breaks my heart, because sometimes you just need to talk to someone that's not in your circle, and that can give you an outside look. To help you heal, because the people in your circle sometimes are just hurting you even more than helping you, and it's hard to realize that.
I shared on my Facebook page recently, just to totally agree with you, how when my husband and I first got married, my brother passed away within that same year, and I lost a baby in that same year. No, it's life has healed. A lot of time has healed. But I shared that I went through the darkest, deepest depression when I had to deliver my son and go through that. And I remember I felt like no one understood. And my husband was trying to do his best to support me. And I think he was going through his own emotions as well. And it was hard to get out of bed. And I didn't even want to tell anybody what I was going through. And for me, it was just write down how you're feeling, get it on the paper. And as I got it on the paper, it was like I was getting it out of my body. And I had to face the reality of what was happening and actually let those emotions course through me. And it took months and even years. There's times when I still get a little choked up. And I'm like, that's okay. It's okay to have those emotions. Don't stay there. Don't live there. And tell someone. Everybody's here to help. And if they're not here to help, then get them out of your circle and move on to the next person. So I think you brought up something really amazing tonight, just touching on that. Like I said, I would have never known that if you would have shared, and I think it's beautiful that you were comfortable to share, and I hope that someone is inspired today to, if they're going through something or they're hurting or anything, instead of just bottling it all up, share. I mean, we have the last 2 times in the media that I've heard it was Kate Spade, Robin Williams, and they're even trying to hint towards that with Anthony Bourdain, the chef. So I'm not really sure if that was the issue, but I just think how amazing would it have been if these amazing people who accomplish great feats every day are facing, issues behind mental illness or depression, if they would have had someone that they could share that with that would have understood and helped them get to the next level each day.
Right.
So, I appreciate that.
Talk about that, the postpartum, because I dealt with postpartum depression, and I didn't tell anyone.
Wow.
I kept that to me, and I felt like it was my burden alone. Wow. And I did that with my depression that I had as an adolescent as well. And I feel like depression will always come for all of us in waves, and it's just hard to get off your chest because once again you feel like you're alone. But that's also a lie that we end up telling ourselves so much that we believe it.
Right.
And then speaking on Kate Spade, my heart hurts for everyone involved there. My heart hurts for her too, because it comes, because what I'll say this, I had my suicidal time. And it's hard to admit that. It's hard to confess that. I don't talk about that very much. My depression and anxiety was so bad while I was pregnant as well that I even thought about giving my son up for adoption because I didn't think I could do it.
Wow.
But I'm glad I didn't, because that little boy is the love of my life, let me tell you. But speaking as far as Kate Spade and Anthony, it's lonely up at the top. You can be surrounded, and I'm not at the top enough to know that, but as where I am and running my own business and my own brand, it is incredibly lonely. So if I'm already lonely because it's everything, all the chips fall on me on a daily basis, I cannot imagine how lonely it is for them. You are responsible, especially if you have people working under you on a regular basis. You are responsible not only for yourself, but everyone else under you. And that is a lot of pressure. And who do you go to when things are going wrong? Because everybody looks to you. But who do you go to?
And I thank you for touching on that as well, because like you said before, everyone always says just pray about it. And so I'm going to also just kind of share a little bit too more about my situation. So it's not just praying about it. And that's the key thing is when I wrote it down and I made it real, I had to actually confess my feelings. And I actually did end up, that writing it down was therapy for me, but also saying, Lord, I can't handle this and it's not getting better. I need you to help me. And then I had to, at that point, start believing that there is a better side. And it was very dim. That belief was very small. But every day that I talked about it and got it into the atmosphere, every day that I pushed forward and started standing on those words of faith, I was able to move out of that direction of despair and into the direction of prosperity and light. And I think that's really key. It's not just saying it. It's actually starting to see the other side. You can say it all day. Yes, you can say it all day, but it's not going to move you forward if you don't start believing in what you're actually putting into practice. What you're actually putting into practice with your words. So
I agree.
Tell me a little bit about what you enjoy most about your job, because when I see the pictures and I read the stories that you're telling about it, I don't even need the story sometimes because the picture is telling me about the couple. I know their history. I know how they met. It's beautiful. So tell me what you enjoy most. I know what I like, but what do you like?
honestly, that's it. It's learning about different people. I get to meet people on all different walks of life, and hear their story and share their story and document their story. And it's a challenge, but an amazing challenge to portray those real moments on film.
Wow.
And to get couples and clients to be their true, genuine selves in front of you, it's a challenge. It's not the easiest thing, but when you do, it is the most rewarding thing.
Now,
it's
you
so
recently
raw, so
went,
authentic,
viral. Can you tell us a little bit about that story that went viral? I saw that on the news, and I was like, ah!
Oh, my goodness. Girl, I was not prepared. Hold on. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. I know I just spring that on you. You probably didn't want me to share that, but I was so excited when I saw your news story had picked up I'm like, I just saw this photo on Facebook and I was amazed by it. I thought, oh, how beautiful. And before I could call you to talk about it, you're on the news.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's the only word I can use to describe it at the moment. But it's a beautiful love story, literally 40 years in the making. You guys are literally just going to have to go check it out on Facebook. I don't want to give away too many details on it. You can go find it on Facebook and actually Instagram. If you look me up, it's KendraLynece. And on Facebook, it's actually pinned to the top, so you'll see it right away. It's a love story, 40 years in the making, y'all.
It's a beautiful story.
Go check it out.
Yes, I urge you to check it out. So it's Kendra Lynece on Facebook. Look her up. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to move you on a little bit. What projects are you currently working on right now?
So I can't really speak on all of the I would love to tell you all the projects because I love talking to you. But right now I'm actually working on coming up with things for photographers and brides. So I have a bridal resource stammering. I'm so sorry. Let me try this again.
You're fine.
Okay. So I have I'm coming up with content for brides and photographers alike. I'm hoping to release it by the end of the year. It's for brides and photographers. There'll be free resources for both. And that's all I can tell you for right now.
Okay. Well, I'm excited because your packages, the way you set them up, you do so much. Like, I am super excited. What is the mantra or motto that you live by?
Be fearless for what you want. And I even have a phone case that says that.
I love it.
Yeah, because, I was crippled by fear for a while. I wanted this. Like, I wanted to be a wedding photographer. I wanted to travel. But at the same time, I allowed myself to live in my fear and my depression and anxiety, going back to that. But I had, once again, going like you were saying before, owning it. I had to own that. I had to own my fear. I had to own my depression. I had to own my anxiety. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way. So if I really want to get to the level that I want to be at, then I need to be fearless and I need to just go for it.
Awesome. How do you balance, because, you're this fearless woman now, how do you balance being a single parent and a working mom? You have the cutest little boy.
Oh, Aiden, that's the love of my life, y'all. I don't even know. You'll see him all over Facebook and Instagram if you follow me. I wish I could say that there's a balance, but there's none. I wish. I feel like telling people that there's a balance is a lie. There's, especially if you have kids, like, you get it.
I
There's
get
no
it.
balance. Some days it's full of tantrums. Other days you're like, look, I'm just going to need you to go to bed right now. Other days it's all cuddles and snuggles. And I run an entire business. So to tell people that there's a balance, there isn't. What I have is a tribe, though. And I have an amazing friend who I've had since high school. Her name is Jessica. Shout out to her. She will take my son at the drop of a hat for my sessions, for my weddings, for my meetings, keep him overnight, and he loves her. And my family will do anything for him as well. So
see, that brings me back to that Keeping your circle strong. I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. If your circle's not fighting for you, then why are they in your circle?
Right.
If you're in my circle, I'm going to fight for you, you know.
I'm going to try to stay in your circle.
So,
do you have any tips for
physically fight though?
Right. Well, we appreciate that. We got to keep moving forward.
I gotta take care of my child. I can't go to jail, and I might help bail you out depending on how much the bond is.
There we go. That's all I ask. Do you have any other tips for single moms or moms in general? Because a lot of the tips that you share on your Facebook page have helped me, and I'm no longer a single mom, but I show so much love and respect to anyone that is, or anyone that is a working mother, because that is another job. Being a mom is full time. It doesn't ever stop.
No, it doesn't. You never sleep.
That's why you had those 3 cups of coffee?
Man, girl, espresso has changed my life. Like, if I don't have espresso at least once a day, I'm a zombie. Like, there's no getting anything done. I'm just going to look at Aiden and stare at him like, you ready? I can't even work out without coffee. But the biggest tip that I have for single moms, and I'll include single dads.
Oh, yes, definitely.
On a daily basis, because you're not perfect.
Mm.
You're not. And we try so hard to be perfect because we have to be everything to our child all the time. And I have to be everything to my child and everything to my business all the time. But I'm not perfect. So there are going to be days where I'm focusing more on my business and my projects and my son, and he's going to watch a little more TV than I would like him to,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be days where I'm not focusing on my business as hard because I want to cuddle with my son and watch movies all day,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Definitely.
And that's okay. And then there's also, you know, when you go to bed at night, you're always thinking, did I do right by my child today? Did I do this? Did I teach them something? How many times did I yell at them today? Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I feel like I did this. I feel like I did that. But you have to forgive yourself because you're only doing the best that you can.
I love it. I mean, that's awesome. That was, yeah. I think I'm motivated now. I'm going to be a better person.
Yeah, but it's a real thing. Like, there's times where I'm swarming in emails and I just want to take a nap, and I take that nap and I wake up like, oh girl, now you have even more, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I needed the nap. I need sleep too. I swear, I work, I usually get like 3-4 hours of sleep at night. And that's not necessarily the best thing, but I also love my job, so it's not like I'm dreading the amount of sleep I'm getting. I know I'm going to have like 6
And I can tell you, your passion, your passion comes through on your pictures. When I see those pictures, I mean, I saw one and I was blown away. The entire, from start to finish, that photo shoot, I'm like, she really made that bride everything, and you could see it, and I love it. So what I took from today, be fearless. I love that. Own it. You know, go after what you want. Those are things that I love to hear. And I'm going to share a little bit about a project that you're working on that you're not talking about. She has been working with with women in general, at any stage of life, at any weight, at any size, at any whatever you may be worried about, but she does your pictures and she makes you look gorgeous. And it isn't that you aren't, and it isn't that you aren't already gorgeous. It's that she's bringing the inside out. So I'm only going to tell you that because I want them to go check out your Facebook. I want them to check out your Instagram and find out more about you.
That's private. They can't just get in there.
I know, but they have to get to know you to get to that. So
that's true. Hold on, does that make sense? So
no, that makes so much sense to me. So I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna let you just share for a second how people can contact you and what's the best way for them to reach you personally.
You can email me at hello@KendraLynece.com. That's KendraLynece. My website, KendraLynece.com, or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Kendra Lynece. It's across the board.
Excellent. And I know that you do work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and helping them branding themselves with social media. Do you want to share a little bit about that before we go? We have about 1 minute.
Okay. Well, it's a new project that I'm starting to come up with. I've worked with a barber. He's amazing. I'm currently working with a fitness coach. And we are working at building their brands, doing photo shoots for them, and establishing their brand on social media the way they want to be established.
Excellent.
Does that make sense? I feel like I said that wrong.
Yeah. One of the things that I know you've done for me, I was going through a serious troll situation, and I was like, I don't even know how to handle trolling because I'm the positive person, and I actually got upset. Right. And I was like, I'm going to respond. And my response was so out of anger and frustration instead of happiness and love, which is like I like to live in happiness and love. And, she literally, I think I posted on my Instagram that she's the Olivia Pope of social media. She came in and was like, this is what you're not going to do. This is what you are going to do. We're going to clean this up right now. We're going to fix this. You know better than that. Right. And you're above that. And I love that you did that for me because it helps me even personally. When I'm facing a situation to go, you know what would Kendra say? So I appreciate all of that. And just even if you have questions, she's a great person to talk to and find out the direction you should be going. So yeah, please reach out to her. We're going to go ahead and let you go for now, but I'm so happy that you tuned in, especially if you stayed all the way to the end. And I hope that something today reached you, blessed you, resonated with you. And I really hope you go follow this young lady as she makes her journey because she's blowing up and she's going to be all over the place pretty soon. So you better snag her now for wedding photos, any type of photography needs that you may have, because one day you'll be able to say, guess what? That was my photographer when she's all big and famous. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember that life is livable, but let's make it enjoyable. You have a great day.
Attention. I told you. All of my critics.
I'm a walking, living legend, ain't no doubt about it. Stack my money to the sky, I'm just grinding out.